Hello and welcome to our TV Asia viewers. We are here in San Antonio, Texas for the 40th Annual API Convention. It's wonderful to see so many people, attendees, and a hustling and bustling convention with amazing and phenomenal speakers from all over the country here to talk to us about various forms of medical and non-medical illnesses in our U.S. and especially the Indian population. And I would like to welcome a very special guest, Dr.ALKA Kanaya. She comes to us from UCSF, the Bay Area. She's professor of medicine at UCSF and a practicing internist and clinical researcher. She has over 20 years of clinical research. That is amazing, Dr. Kanaya. Congratulations to you on all your hard work. Now, I've been just hearing the buzz around the word masala. And every time I think of masala, I get hungry or I want masala tea. But yours is a different kind of masala. So tell us, what is this masala study all about?
Sure. So for people who haven't heard about masala, so it's a study that stands for Mediators of Atherosclerosis in South Asians Living in America. So the acronym is MASALA. That's a name that came to me one day when I was thinking about a catchy name for this new study that we started about 12 years ago. We've been following about 1,000 South Asians for the last 12 years to see what predicts who develops heart disease. Because we know from studies around the world that South Asians, no matter where they live, tend to have more heart disease than other counterparts, but nobody understands why.
Right.
So that's the crux of why we're doing this study, and it's been funded by the National Institutes of Health.
Excellent.
And now we've gotten more funding, so we've been following people every 5 years. We see them back. We're doing our third exam visit right now, bringing the surviving 1,000 people back to measure heart function.
And this is in the U.S., all across the U.S.
It's at two sites, San Francisco Bay Area, where I am, and also Chicago. And so we randomly sampled people from these two sites who are South Asian, not only Indian,
including
but
Indian and
Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan, to come and be in the study and commit to being in it long term, because we need long-term longitudinal data.
So how many years will the study go on?
Until we don't get funding anymore. So we're hoping this is like a Framingham for South Asians. Many people have heard of the Framingham study that started in the U.S. back in the 1950s. 60 years or so it's been going on. And so there's nothing like that, equivalent to that in any part of the South Asian diaspora.
That's really good to know. So it's very needed. That is for sure, because South Asians, from what I understand, have such a high rate of heart disease. I mean, almost every other person you talk to has either an aunt or an uncle, a cousin, a mom, dad, or themselves that has either suffered from a heart attack or has just bad coronary arteries. Why is this?
So not only is it a high rate, but it's a high rate of early heart disease. So South Asians get heart disease 10 years earlier than any other group in the world. And no one understands why. Many theories. And so that's what we're doing in Masala. We're taking a deep dive, understanding the biology, so measuring lots of different things, including genetic factors and biological factors, proteins in the blood. But we're also looking at social, cultural, behavioral, societal, healthcare factors, other factors, just not only individual factors, but the context people live in, the stress in our world, the air pollution. I mean, we're looking at lots of different layers to understand, because everything kind of interacts.
It's connected. It's connected, right? It's not just, okay, you have this, therefore you're at risk. You cannot separate it, because lifestyle is it's a whole, I guess, a conglomeration of multiple factors. And I know diet is a big thing.
Diet is
everybody, I mean, gosh, the craze now, if you had to make money, just put some new fad diet out there and you'll make it. So Dr. Kanaya, tell us, we talk about lifestyle all the time, and every time I think of lifestyle, first thing that comes to my mind is diet and exercise. And so tell me about diet. What is an ideal diet, or is that even such a thing?
Yeah, so great question. So we've spent a lot of time and energy thinking about how to measure diet, because you can imagine having people in the study who are from North India and South India and East India and Bangladesh and Pakistan. There's lots of regional differences in diet all over South Asia. So we've used a long questionnaire, 163 items, to understand what types of food people eat, how often they eat it. And we've put this data together and found there are three main dietary patterns that South Asians in the US are consuming. One is a animal protein Western type of diet. You can understand, you know, as people live longer in the US, they may be eating more of this Western diet. Another third are eating a traditional South Asian diet, which is more fried foods.
But vegetarian based?
Half are vegetarian, half are non-veg in this dietary pattern, but it's fried snacks, high-fat dairy.
Sounds familiar.
Sweets, exactly. So that's the more traditional South Asian diet in the middle. And the third is a prudent diet, which is, you know, fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and legumes like dal.
And plant-based? Is that plant-based?
Plant-based, but you know, half are vegetarian and half are not. So, so all three of these dietary patterns are equally common in our group of participants. But what we found is the people eating the Western diet and that middle, that South Asian traditional diet had the highest risk factors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not the plant-based or the more fresh fruits and
vegetables.
That was the healthiest.
So no dairy, I'm assuming?
There is dairy in there, but it's very little on average compared to other populations in the US.
And even the traditional Indian diet, well, it makes sense if it's fried lentils versus boiled lentils, right?
Yes.
But the choice of the actual food matters, I guess.
It's the
but
quality.
How you prepare it
exactly
is
the
a big
quality
thing.
of food. So yesterday we had a new paper come out that looked at healthy plant-based foods versus unhealthy plant-based. So a lot of people ask me, it's like, but I'm vegetarian, my diet's very healthy. Not necessarily. It's about the types of plant-based foods you're eating. So it's about how, not only what you eat, so fresh fruits and vegetables being the best. If you're going to cook your vegetables, how are you cooking your vegetables? Are you destroying
Are you using ghee?
the
Are you
nutrients? Right. Are you overcooking? And by that I mean when the fiber breaks down so it's mushy, you're not getting many of the nutrients and you're not getting the fiber.
Problem is in our Indian diet especially, we like flavor and we like things to be mushed up and cooked well. You don't want some boiled vegetables, right?
No, it doesn't need
so
to
is
be
that
boiled.
is that destroying the nutritional
Not
value?
At all. Spices are great. Ginger, garlic,
turmeric,
onions, all of that, jeera, all wonderful. It's about overcooking and frying and hot oil kind of cooking that destroys the nutrients and destroys the vitamins.
So maybe more of a steam kind of a thing,
you know,
or
just saute, like, you know, sukha vegetables rather than the cream-filled curries and not such a great.
That's right, the
choice.
kind you get in the restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay.
So home cooking.
That makes sense. And quantity-wise, is there a restriction you think on how much we should eat, or?
Yeah. No.
I mean, always right. Moderation is the key.
Exactly. Moderation. I think it's really a good idea to think about things in the raw sense, whenever possible. So raw fruits and vegetables, salad being a good example of raw foods. You know, and it doesn't have to be a green leafy salad. A lot of Indians just like you know, cucumber, tomatoes,
chopped up with like
like a cucumber
lemon
type.
cucumber,
It's very good. It's a really good salad.
Sure. Okay, so that's still okay. Cucumber is good. We can have cucumber. I can't do without my cucumber and pyaz. Everybody loves onion, you know, pyaz.
Sure.
How is that? That's good for us?
Absolutely. Causes some gas. But
some gas, yeah. All right, welcome back, TV Asia viewers. I'm interviewing Dr. ALKA Kanaya from UCSF, and we are talking about the MASALA study, which is this very new, innovative research on heart disease and why it happens more in South Asians. Dr. Kanaya, so we were talking about diet, the importance of the quality of the diet, how you prepare the food, what kinds of foods you eat. Now, everybody hates to exercise, but we try our best. We say, okay, chalo, let's go for a little sad in the evening, 5-10 minutes, and we walk our usual slow Indian style walk and chat. Is that okay as long as
Yeah.
we're moving, or do we have to
Absolutely.
run on a treadmill and get really aggressive?
Good question, good question. So much data has looked at types of exercise, intensity and duration, and it turns out it's about the time. So if you can do 30 minutes
30
a
minutes.
day,
Okay.
even at a slow, moderate pace, it's way better than 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So
Intense.
Yeah, no, intensity is important, but 30 minutes is what you're aiming for. So I say slow pace, medium pace,
Okay.
30 minutes is what you need to hit.
Time is that important,
It is
really?
important.
Because
It
some
is
people
important.
say, you know, especially people who go to work and they have a break, they say,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a sprint. I'm just going to go run on the treadmill 10 minutes or outside, and then that's it, you know,
Yeah.
and I got my cardio in because
Yeah.
my heart rate went up, so
Yeah.
therefore
Yeah.
I'm good.
So
But it's
30
more
minutes of cardio would be
30
better.
minutes, even if you go
Yeah.
slower.
Yes, exactly. So my point,
Okay.
when I talk to my patients about preventing heart disease, preventing diabetes, it's about getting to 30 minutes a day of walking or
Walking
any
is good.
exercise,
Yes.
swimming, any kind of exercise. Get moving.
Moving,
Get
okay.
up off of the chair,
Okay.
because that's the biggest
No
thing. Is
chair
the-
exercises.
It's the
Okay.
sedentaryism that's not good for your blood vessels. So just
Right.
standing
Even
instead of
standing.
sitting
Yes.
gives the blood vessels more of a chance to contract,
Contract
and work. And so that's what I think 30 minutes matters, is just getting
okay.
up and moving your
Moving.
body.
So even if you're at work and you just walk around your
Yes.
office, you know,
Yes,
or take the stairs instead of
park
the elevator.
far away, walk
Right.
into work, walk back.
Okay.
30 minutes a day. And
Any time of the day?
any time
or-
of the
okay.
day. For someone who's diabetic, I think this is really illustrative, is you take your blood sugar after you eat. So usually you check your blood sugar before you eat, but if you check your
Yes.
blood sugar after you eat a meal,
Yes.
then go walk. Go walk for 15, 20,
Okay.
30 minutes, come back and check your blood sugar.
Oh.
You will see a massive decrease. You might be
Really?
like 200 after eating a meal. You'll be way down, hopefully closer to 120 after the walk. And so
That is
it
good.
is
And
really
after the meal, not
after
before.
The meal. After the meal is
Always
really nice. It helps
after.
you process that.
Get the
blood sugar.
metabolism going.
Exactly.
So diabetes, of course, is linked very closely to heart disease in terms of
Yes.
being a huge risk factor. So by doing this diet and exercise that you recommend, we can treat both, actually, or at least prevent the
Absolutely.
advancement of both.
Yes, the diabetes is a
Very
real big
good.
problem for
It
our
is.
community.
Another big
Yeah.
one in the South Asian community, diabetes. Culture.
Mm.
You know, Indians and South Asians, we love our culture, our beliefs, our traditions, and
Yes.
it's just something that no matter what generation you're referring to, culture is a big part of our identity.
Yes.
So how do you combat these, I don't know, or is there any obstacle because of certain
Yeah.
cultural beliefs to implementing these strategies?
Right. So there are so many good things about our cultural beliefs and behaviors, family, being so important, eating together, living close by, seeing each other, having common
Right.
social, religious events happen. Those are good.
Yeah.
But when we've looked at this carefully in our study, and we've put people into 3 buckets, people who are very American in their beliefs, they're very assimilated. Then there's half the group is bicultural, so they've adopted some American beliefs but have retained some South
Yes,
Asian, so a little bit
yes.
of both. And then there's a third group that's very traditional South Asian, Indian beliefs, hasn't
Right.
adopted any.
Right.
So there's the 3 groups, assimilation, integration, and the last group is separation. What we find is the 2 groups that are the healthiest are the assimilation, the ones that are very American, and the middle, the bicultural group.
Oh, bicultural.
And it's the separation,
So-
the ones that are very traditional in their beliefs that have the worst in terms
Why
of
is that?
metabolic. So you tell me, remember we talked
Well,
about the 3
diet?
diets?
Yes,
Right, so where do you
yes.
think that middle
Ah,
diet
yes.
tends to go into the
More of the
group, the
traditional,
traditional,
yes,
the
yes.
fried snacks,
Right,
the, high
right.
carbohydrates, a lot of the,
Right.
deep fried
Because they will
foods.
only have Indian food. They insist
Exactly.
breakfast, lunch, dinner has
Yeah.
to be Indian.
And there's other things that come with cultural issues that may be causing some more stress.
Sure.
Living in an environment where there's a lot of,
Right.
differences in how people
Yeah.
change, so that may be part.
Exactly. Well, I guess there's always good points and bad points to everything. So tell us, Dr. Kanaya, this masala study sounds so exciting. I want to hear about what is on the horizon for masala.
Thank you.
Do we
for
have a
asking.
masala 2.0?
Yes, we have many. So we're in the third wave of data collection. We've been following these 1,100 people, and we're bringing them back right now. And this is the two universities I mentioned, UCSF, where I am, and Dr. Nami Kandula, my partner, is at Northwestern University in Chicago. So we're having everyone come back. We're doing echocardiograms and other tests.
I see.
But the most exciting thing is we got a new grant from NIH to expand masala.
Really?
And now we're including 1,200 new participants from New York and from Chicago, who have to be Bangladeshi or Pakistani. And that's because so far masala has been
Focus more on
primarily
Indians, yes,
but
right.
we need to include Pakistanis
Sure.
and Bangladeshis because the risk factors are different.
Oh, are
and
they?
we won't know how different or how different their heart disease is
So
if
when
we
you
don't
say
include
their risk factors, the ones that aren't controllable, like genetics,
Exactly.
and not
No,
the
but
diet and exercise,
even
but
diet and exercise,
Oh,
and
yes.
even having stressors in your life. Discrimination is different. There's been so much more Islamophobia, as
I
you know,
see,
and so there's
okay.
many different factors that could impact heart health.
Okay.
And so if we have enough 600 Bangladeshis, 600 Pakistanis, we have already 900 Indians in the study, we'll be able to look at each group separately to see who has higher risk, who has lower risk, what may be leading to higher risk.
So that's a very unique aspect about
Yeah.
masala, because I don't think the other studies that have looked at South Asians have focused so much on other groups and
Exactly.
differentiating factors.
Yeah.
It was kind of just grouped into one
Exactly, and
category.
there's a lot of differences. I mean, even though
Interesting.
everyone in the
well,
South Asian
Pakistani diet too, from what I understand, in Bangladeshi is very meat
exactly
focused.
a little bit more meat focused,
A lot of
right.
meat, a lot of oil. So
Yeah.
that does make sense.
So we expect, and we've already recruited about 150 people, and just looking at the early data, it definitely looks like there's even more diabetes and even more high blood pressure in those subgroups compared to Indians. So if you are Bangladeshi or Pakistani or have friends or family who live in the New York area or the Chicago area, please contact us. We'd be happy to have
Can you
one
give us
member.
the contact info? We can
Yeah.
put it on our
Just go to our
website.
website, masalastudy.org,
masalastudy.org.
and you can contact us. There's a contact us link there. Please let us know if you're interested. We need people between 40 and 84 years old.
Okay.
They can speak Urdu, Bangla, Hindi, so they don't need to speak English.
Okay.
Please contact us and let us know you're interested in being in the study, and we'll have our staff reach out to you and see if you're eligible.
And Indians as well, or just you
Just
want to
those two,
Bangladesh?
because we
you
have
enough
plenty
of the Indians. Okay.
Yeah, we're following those
Okay.
Indians for 12 years now.
So you'll stick with that group.
Exactly. So they're all going to be together. We'll have 2,300 people total in the study.
Very nice. And when will the results come out, do you think?
Well, we've had 85 papers we've already published, and I was
Really?
mentioning a lot of the results are the diet and the physical
Sure.
activity. But the heart disease papers, it's going to take a few more years because,
Right.
people will develop heart disease when they do. And
Yes.
we're talking to them every year to get follow-up to see
Right.
who develops heart attacks, who has strokes, and then we can link the factors that we've measured on them to who has developed these diseases to see what. So it takes time because it's a small cohort. Framingham was 5,000 people.
Yes.
And it took them 30 years to understand why
yes,
cholesterol
yes.
is bad, why high blood pressure is bad.
And things keep
So
changing.
things change.
Sometimes it's like, this is the good cholesterol, this is bad. Maybe
Yes.
this is not so bad, or this is
Yes.
not so good.
We are learning more and more, and so we're putting all of that into the study to try to understand it with the most updated,
Yes.
sense. Yeah.
Excellent. And funding, you mentioned there is funding, but is there any
Yes.
way that the participants or
Yeah.
participants' families can
Yeah.
contribute?
We would be happy to talk to anyone who wants to contribute whatever small or large amount. You can donate through our website to us,
Okay.
and all that money goes
Okay.
straight to the research. If people want to give a larger gift because they're interested in
Yes.
us doing, we have, these banks of blood samples we've saved on everyone. We don't have enough funding to look at vitamin D levels and thyroid levels. There's
So
so
there's
many
always
different
more
things we could
avenues to look
do.
at,
So if you
yeah.
have some ideas, or we have a lot of ideas, and you want to partner with us to say,
Okay.
I'd really like to help you focus on this
So maybe like a
aspect.
practice, a group
Yeah.
practice, or
Yeah, and
can.
so we're happy to talk to people about partnering and collaborating, not to
Okay.
do new research, but to use our existing
Additional.
biomarkers. Yeah.
That's really great to know. It sounds
Yeah.
like there's so much scope in this masala study, and I'm sure it's going to have a huge impact
I hope so. I hope
when
so.
the final results come out
Yeah.
eventually. But
Yeah.
whatever I'm hearing, it sounds very intriguing and eye-opening, and a lot of things which I thought as a traditional were good were apparently not so good. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nice to know that.
Thank you.
But thank you so much to our viewers once again. I'm Dr. Sachdev, your host, and Dr. Kanaya is our guest today talking about the masala study. And we hope you will stay with us for our next interviews. Thank you and goodbye.